Hey, good afternoon, Mower Medic 1. Today I'm going to go over how to reload spindle blade spindles with new bearings. As you can tell, this one bearing is just completely shot. I'm going to show you the difference between a new spindle and what to look for before you try to reload it with new bearings. And I've got a new one here. This is just the housing. The main thing that you want to be sure of is this lip where this bearing rides down in here. I'm going to pull this old one out. As you can tell, the inner race and all the bearings, or the little balls, are gone. So we're going to have to get this old race out, and it's just a matter of tapping it out with a punch. You can use an air hammer or just a punch and a regular hammer. Let me get this old race out, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. When you remove the old bearings out of your spindle, there'll be a number on there. You don't have to buy the high dollar factory bearings. The bearings that you get at your auto parts store are probably better, just like these 6205 with the Z attribute. Just get you a drift punch and go down in the spindle. You can catch the edge of the race. Kind of walk it around. Almost there. Here's the old race. When you get your new bearings, there's going to be a couple of types. This is going to be the 6205 RS, which is just a double-lipped bearing, which is the factory bearing. You can also, for the same money, get the 6205 2ZJ, which is a metal-clad seal, and these bearings will last a little longer for your rebuild. This is the old shaft. As you can tell, the bearing goes down just a little ways. It's got a burr on it. You're going to need to clean this up before you utilize the old shaft. Here's a new shaft, and it should just be a slip fit. Shouldn't have to force that shaft down over those bearings. Just clean the inside of the cavity there, and just pay attention to this lip. If this lip has started to round over, and they'll do that, like if you have a blade that's out of balance or you've hit something, and you want to make sure that this is not wallered out, like when you go to put the bearing in and the bearing just falls down in there, your housing's bad. You need to replace it. This rebuild process will cover just about any kind of riding mower, zero turn, whatnot. Matter of fact, you'll even work on those AYP types Craftsman spindles. The only difference is you won't have a crush sleeve or a bearing preload sleeve. The sleeve will be made into the shaft itself. But let's go ahead and get these bearings put in, and we'll get them tapped down in there. The bearing will slip past this area right here. This is just where the shaft rides. So you're going to have a ways to go before the bearing actually starts getting seated. If I didn't make that clear earlier. So let's go ahead and get it tapped in. I'm going to utilize my old shaft as a bearing installer. You don't want to beat on the inner part of the race. You want to beat or tap on the outside of the bearing race. Just kind of walk it in. If you have a press, that would be a lot better. But when you're out in the field, this is all you can do. You can hear how it changed tones. That lets me know that the bearing is seated. Next thing you want to do is you want to reinstall your crush sleeve. Just clean it up real good. Make sure it's not worn out. If it's worn out this way, if it's shorter because it's been beat and battered from hitting stuff, rocks, stumps, your bearing preload will not be correct. So just go ahead and get it dropped in, and then we'll install the other bearing. Once again, I'm going to use an old shaft. See how it changed tones? That's good to go. Now we can slide our new shaft up through the bearings and the race. Just give it a tap. Now you're ready to accept your pulley and bolt, and this bolt right here, it needs to be torqued to about 35 foot-pounds to get your proper bearing preload. The only other style bearing that you'll have will be a caged roller bearing, kind of like a wheel bearing on a truck or a car. You'll basically just tap your race down in there, and then you'll grease those caged roller bearings, and then your procedure will be the same, you know, torque it. But you don't have to take the spindle out of the machine to do this repair. You can do it while the spindle's in the deck, and if you have room. If you don't, of course, you'll have to remove the spindle. But if you guys have any questions about how to repack, not repack, but reload the spindles with new bearings, let me know. Have a great day.